Let's get right into it here. So we've got bananas for 79 cents a pound. I am going to get exactly 1 pound of these. Well, I'm going to try. And then I'm going to get some pork loin. So it's $2.49 per pound. And remember, I'm stocking up here. So I do get one that's $16.61 in total. Then I'm getting some spaghetti for $1 for 900 grams. And then I go ahead and drop it right on the floor. But don't worry, I bought that bag. Next is mustard. I got this for $1.69. I actually thought I was going to be getting it for $1, so I was pretty shocked when it was $1.69, but I bought it anyway. Then we're going to get some vegetable oil for $3.29. Here is some balsamic vinegar, 500 milliliters of that for $3.99. Again, cheapest one. This is 2 for $5, but I only need one, so I'm grabbing one for $2.99 in the end. So $4.79 for some yeast. Now I was going to get this $3.99 flour. That was what was advertised. It was 2.5 kilograms, but I found 10 kilograms for $7.99. So I knew that I was going to be a couple dollars over, but that will last me for so long making things from scratch. So that cinnamon was, I didn't show you the price, but it was $2.29. Now we're at Co-op. We've got apples for $1 a pound. Gala, I got exactly a pound. And then 2 for $4 for the carrots. I actually got these for $2 because I'm at Co-op. These salads I ended up getting for 50 cents in the end with these stickers on them, and they were fine. I checked the back. They were just a little bit wet, so they were perfect. Got 2 of those. Then these pineapples were $1.79 a can. Again, more than I wanted to pay. And then I got that can for $1. Here's my independent receipt, $45.36, and then $6.81 from Co-op. So that makes my total $52.17. Here's everything I got in total, just showing you the haul at the end. All right, now we're going to get into some breakfasts. I'm going to show you days 1 to 4, and that's going to be making cinnamon buns. If you need the recipe, then go ahead and pause here, and I will, you can go ahead and take a picture of it or whatever you need to do. So as you can see here, I've already mixed up the dough. I've rolled it out into the appropriate shape. Now I'm just rubbing it with vegetable oil as an alternative to butter. Normally I would use butter for this, but I think the whole purpose in this is just to have the cinnamon and sugar stick to the dough, so it didn't end up tasting any different. Now these are overnight cinnamon buns, so I'm doing this the night before, but I'm just going to mix up the sugar and the cinnamon, and then I'm going to be putting that all over the dough and then rolling it up, and you'll see my wonderful rolling technique, which sucks, but they work out wonderfully in the end, so it doesn't really matter. But I just want to tell you about this challenge. I love watching these videos, these extreme budget grocery hauls. And here, $50 in Canada is not a lot, especially where I am in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. Groceries are expensive because we don't have any discount stores. So my idea for this was I wanted to get things at budget, but I also wanted to get things up in bulk and be able to stock up for the coming weeks. So I was sort of imagining, like, if I originally moved here and I could only spend $50 a week, but I wanted to, you know, stock up on some things and have a bit of food storage and obviously have things in my pantry and freezer and whatever. So that was my idea. It's sort of like starting fresh, only spending $50 a week. Now I realize I went $2 over. Please forgive me for this week, but I am hoping also that I'm going to get better at this as time goes on. So I will be able to get under that $50 and hopefully get some, you know, as I stock up on things, be able to create some pretty cool meals. So now I realize also that cinnamon buns for breakfast for 4 days a week is not the healthiest option, but we never had them, so it was kind of fun. And also I think I'll be able to afford, you know, healthier choices as I stock up on these basics like flour and yeast and whatever. So that's my idea for it. Hopefully you guys like it. I'll be numbering the videos, so this will be obviously number 1, and you can watch them in order. I am going to do this. I'm going to aim for every, like, once a month. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell to all, because I don't just do food videos. I do different kinds of videos. So if you hit the bell to all, then you'll be notified of all those videos, so that you can click the ones you like. So here are the cinnamon buns before they've risen. I'm going to put them in the fridge overnight. And I forget to get a clip of them once they've risen. So I'm going to set the oven for 350. I'm going to put the cinnamon buns in for 30 minutes. And here they are, all completed. And I love how they all rose together and all stuck together in the pan. Now I did mean to half this recipe, so I made way too many. I only meant to make 8 so that I could eat 2 per day, but my family got to benefit and got to eat the rest of the 8 rolls. My daughter was over the moon. She loves cinnamon buns, and I barely ever make them just because they're so time consuming. This is for the bread, $4.50 I'm preheating the oven. I also have to make the bread ahead of time. Here's my cinnamon buns. They're nice and fluffy. I'll show you. I was pretty impressed with them. I feel like this is the best I've ever made them, actually. They turned out awesome. Maybe because I always freeze my yeast. I don't know. But this was fresh yeast, so. All right, so this is the bread after it's risen overnight. I do use Fit Frugal Mom's recipe, so that's the recipe I've used for this. I'll link it down below for you. She's a YouTuber. She's fantastic. But the bread dough is so sticky, so I had trouble getting it out of the bowl. It's just so sticky. Now I'm giving it a knead before I put it in the pan, and I'm wondering if that was a mistake because it didn't rise as much as I thought it would. It might just be the recipe, but yeah, I don't, maybe I shouldn't have kneaded it. I don't know. But anyway, I knead it for a little while and then I put it in the pan and bake it. I also shape it to size. Just gonna grease up my pan here with the vegetable oil again on a piece of saran wrap. I don't know why I do that. It's kind of strange. Used to be able to get those baggies that weren't zippers. I used to use those all the time. But I cannot find those anywhere anymore here in Yellowknife. Like I might have to look on Amazon or something. I can only ever find zipper ones and I just can't waste a zipper one in my head. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, so again, I'm just handling the bread too much, I think, in the end. So I wouldn't advise that. So here we go. This is what it turned out like. It looks burnt on the bottom, but it was fine. Didn't taste burnt. I just wanted to show you guys how much bread I got out of it. That's my third piece today. Oh, Chris is telling me how much he already ate, so I might have to make another one of these. But yeah, Alice is sitting here waiting for one too. Apparently this is the best bread I've ever made, which is hilarious. That's what Chris said. But anyway, there's 10 pieces here. Chris just said he ate 3. I ate 2. So there's quite a few pieces. But again, I might have to make another one, but just wanted to show you guys. So here's my breakfast for 2 of the days. I could have 2 pieces. I will if I'm still hungry. I definitely have enough bread and enough banana. I only used half of it. And I just put the banana right on the toast. I usually would have peanut butter on the bottom. So obviously if you have peanut butter, that would work too. But it'll be fine with just banana. And then you could put some cinnamon on if you wanted as well. That might make it taste really nice as well. Sort of like a pie on toast. That's what I'm going for. Pies on toast. All right, so this is the last day of breakfast. I'm having this apple pie stuff I made on the toast. So I just put, this is a whole apple. So this will probably make, maybe 3 toasts. There's quite a bit there, or you could just pile it on. But I'm gonna start with one and then I'll have another one if I'm still hungry. But it's just apples and cinnamon and sugar in there. And then I left it in the fridge for a day or 2. And so it kind of all, I don't know, melded together. And then I'm just putting it on my toast to top it, almost like an apple pie toast. All right, let's get into lunches for the week. So right now I'm just portioning this meat. I did this the first day as well. I'm just cutting the parts of the meat that I can cut into pork chops. I'm just cutting little thin pork chops. I'll show you the big stack of meat I get in the end, but it ends up making 23 pork chops and a small roast. So here's that big stack of meat I got, all those 23 pork chops. And I'll show you just how I portion them out because obviously I don't use 23 pork chops in 1 week. So all I've done with this roast is just cheat it a little bit. I put salt and pepper on it and then I put a little bit of water in the bottom. So I just baggied them up. I put 3 per bag. Here's the roast when it's done. I'm just going to cut it up into lunch meat and also meat to go on top of the salads that I'm going to have. Just preparing the carrots here. I'm going to peel a lot of them and then cut them up into pieces. I'm going to use these for side dishes just raw and also to make carrot fries, which I'll show you a little later. Now I'm just preparing days 1 and 2 of lunch. So I just used this salad. It used half a bag. And as you guys know, I had 2 bags of that. So I technically could have done this for 4 days if I stretched the meat or made a little more. But I did only do it for 2 days and use the rest of the salad for more sides or if I was extra hungry as a snack. Now I'm just putting half of the pork on and then I'm just going to heat it up first. And then I'm going to make a salad dressing. So I'm making balsamic vinegar and this vegetable oil, and it was absolutely disgusting. I would not recommend doing this. I would sooner eat the salad plain, or just use a dressing that you have at home. Again, I'll confess I did cheat and just used a dressing that I already had. But this is good if you have extra virgin olive oil handy. If you mix extra virgin olive oil and balsamic, that's actually a good salad dressing. A little bit of pepper helps too. Now we've got days 3 to 5. So I ate this sandwich for 3 days. It was just that pork lunch meat that I had and some of that mustard on the bread. It was actually really good. And then I had some carrots as a side dish, just raw. I'm just making some carrot fries for the side dish for day 6 and 7. I just pour vegetable oil on and then I air fry them for 20 minutes and I turn them halfway through. Now I did make 2 portions just for day 6 and 7 to have it made easy and ready. And then I just fried up a pork chop with salt and pepper. You could use some of that balsamic vinegar if you wanted sort of a different taste, but I liked it just the way it was. All right, so now we're getting into dinners for the week. I'm gonna go ahead and pop up the first recipe here if you want to go ahead and pause it so that you can copy this down if you're planning to make this meal. It's just going to be a cheeseless pizza, so it's kind of unusual. I'm allergic to cheese anyway, so it works out well for me. So I just added some water there, and now I'm just adding some yeast. I'm gonna let the yeast proof. I'm gonna give it a little mix and then give it some time. I ended up giving this about an hour, and this was how much it rose, which is not very much at all. Then I added the salt. You can add these things with it at the beginning if you want, but I just added them after to try to give the yeast a good chance. So I added some salt, some sugar, and some oil. And I'm only going to fill this half of the way just because I am halving the recipe because I only want 1 pizza. The recipe I showed you does make 2 pizza crusts. You could always make the 2 and then freeze 1, but I just wanted to use my ingredients appropriately. Now I'm adding the flour and I'm going to go ahead and knead the dough. First I'll mix it up and then I'm going to go ahead and knead it with my hands. Then I just need to let it rise in the bowl for a certain amount of time. I think it's an hour, half an hour. I can't remember. It's on the recipe. But you just cover it up with something and then it will rise until doubled. Then I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the pan. I don't have any special techniques on how I flatten it. I just smush it with my fingers like you can see until it fits the pan. And then I go ahead and bake it before I put the toppings on. So this is what it looks like after it's baked. I've already made this sauce and mixed the meat into it. It's just, I think it's a pork chop or 2, and I mixed it right in with the sauce, only because I'm going to make a dish after with the exact same thing pretty much. Now I'm just going to add the pineapple. I know it doesn't look like a lot of meat, but it was pretty filling. I have 2 slices a day for 4 days with this meal. And so now I'm just going to pop it in the oven after I've put all the pineapple on, and voila. Now we've got days 5 to 7, so I'm going to eat this for 3 days. It's just a spaghetti with that pork chop and that sauce, and I've put some carrots in there as well, cooked carrots. That's all there is to it. It was actually really good and filling. And of course, if you have cheese or pepper or anything like that, all those things would enhance it. Okay, so here's what I have left of my groceries for the week. So I'll go through it with you. I've got 5 of these packages of 3 pork chops per bag, except for this 1 bag of 2 pork chops. So that's doing well. I cooked a few too many when I was doing the pasta and pizza. I probably could have used a few less in the pasta, but hey, it was delicious. Okay, I've got 3 carrots. I've got this much pineapple. I'm going to go ahead and freeze that. I freeze pineapple like this all the time, so it's fine. Okay, I've got all that yeast left. You saw I didn't use very much of that. I've got that much balsamic. Barely used any again. It's right to here. I've got lots of oil left. I've got nearly all my flour. I've got most of the package of spaghetti. I've got sugar, that much. Just goes to about here. I've got lots of cinnamon left, and that's it. So I will be using this stuff in the next extreme budget haul. It's gonna be awesome.